Hello and welcome back. It's me, Valerie Monroe, and my reading buddy, Bookwormy. And we are so glad you're here. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Okay, this is not a singing show. This is a reading show. That's right. So we're going to get right on to the reading. Yes, now that we're all here, we want to go on with Down the Swale, which we were reading yesterday. We've been reading it for a while. That's right, we're getting to the good part. Yes, we are. Okay, just sit right here for a moment. I have a new cat behind me today. I don't know if you can see him. You can see his paw. There's Poe. Today he's sitting in with us while we read, so you might see him over there on the couch doing some things. Yesterday, we were just at the part in Down the Swale where Brogden had been woken up in the middle of the night by like a strange humming noise, and he went by John and Elaine's bedroom, and they were talking about they had a little baby, and that the baby was going to outgrow the nighttime feedings. And Brogden was like, "What are you talking about? What does this mean? He didn't see any babies around. And what's making that mysterious humming sound?" We're going to find out right now. Just then, John's gaze fell upon the desk. And if you remember, Brogden was hiding in the drawer of the desk. "That's funny," he said, walking over and pushing the desk drawer all the way in. Now Brogden was completely in the dark. He listened intently, and as soon as he was sure John had left the room, he began to wriggle back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and finally the drawer began to open again. A little more, thought Brogden hopefully, just a little more. And when it was about an inch, he was able to poke his arm out. This gave him enough leverage to push against the top of the desk and open the drawer a few more inches, enough space to free himself. He scrambled out, slid down the leg of the desk, and ran off searching for John. Catching sight of the top of John's head descending the staircase, he peeked through the railings on the landing until he saw John reach the bottom step. Then he started down the stairs himself. Elaine had carried him up the stairs earlier in the evening, and he quickly discovered that getting down them would be quite an ordeal. Standing on the top step, he extended his foot, testing how far it would reach, which wasn't very far, so he could not step down. He then tried jumping with both feet at the same time from one step to the next. However, he realized that if he continued in that manner, it would take him the full night to reach the bottom, and he'd never catch up with John. So although he knew what he was about to do was dangerous, he decided that in the interest of time, he had no other choice. And do not try this at home. Lying on his stomach, he slid down backwards, bumping on each stair. And he counted 14 as he went all the way to the bottom. By the time he reached the last step, his ribs were so sore he could barely stand up. He scouted around for John, who was neither in the living room nor the dining room, so Brogden moved on to the kitchen. The humming sound was louder than ever. And it seemed as though it was coming from directly beneath him. He saw nothing unusual in the kitchen, but when he looked a second time, he noticed that a door in the kitchen was open. Upon investigation, he found a set of cement stairs leading to the basement. Figuring that must be where John had gone, he jumped onto the first step. There was no way he could slide down the cement stairs on his stomach and still keep his bones intact. So he jumped from one to the next, counting 15 this time, until he reached the bottom. In the basement, there was still no sign of John. A single white light bulb hanging above a workbench illuminated a huge freezer, a washer and dryer, and an assortment of old furniture, including an antique hat stand, 4 chairs with red velvet seats, a grandfather clock whose pendulum was not swinging, and a curio cabinet with a collection of china dolls. The dolls' wide-eyed painted faces stared out blankly at Brogden. Those eerie faces, coupled with the humming noise, which was even louder now, made him more uneasy than ever. He wanted nothing more than to be back in the guest room in the bed, with the covers up to his chin and his head on the soft pillow. He turned to climb back up the stairs when out of the corner of his eye he spied another open door. It wasn't all that much taller than he was. And remember, he's only a foot. And it would have been discreetly hidden behind a large wooden bureau, except that it looked like someone had pushed the bureau aside to get to it. An open padlock hung from the door, and light streamed through the opening. Brogden realized the humming sound was definitely coming from behind the door. Even stranger was the fact that the humming sound was actually a yumming sound. Yum. Yum. Brogden's curiosity was piqued now. He was determined to find out where exactly the sound was coming from and what was causing it. Should we stop here? No, we're going to continue on. Heart pounding, he walked over and pushed the door open. This revealed another staircase, and he started down. The passageway was so narrow and the ceiling quite low. It was also drafty and damp, and a cool breeze hit Brogden in the face as he descended. He breathed it in, recognizing the smell of lake water. With each downward step, he grew chillier, and the yumming sound, yum, grew louder. With only 3 more steps to go, he was startled to hear another voice, John's, which carried through the air above the yumming. Easy now, girl, he heard John say. There's plenty here. You'll get a bellyache. I wonder who John could be talking to. With only 2 steps to go, he heard what sounded like a splash followed by John's laughter. Ha ha, you silly. Now I'm soaked through. And these were my only clean pajamas. Brogden jumped to the bottom step, which ended at a cinder block wall. He turned the corner, and there was John. He was standing in front of a huge tank filled with greenish water. Next to John was one of the plastic containers that had been in the second bedroom. John was throwing the orangey pellets into the tank, which then went into the mouth of a large, greenish-black monster with a long tail and fins and humps and glistening black scales and 2 rows of long, pointy, razor-sharp teeth. Brogden didn't mean to scream, but he couldn't help it. And that's where we will stop for today. Oh my goodness, that sounds so scary, especially the part with the pointy teeth. I know, Bookwormy, what do you think that he is seeing there in the tank? I don't know. What do you think? I'm asking you. I'm asking you. We're asking you. Yes, we are. What do you think is in that tank? What kind of creature is hidden in their house in the basement? And John is feeding it these orangey pellets. Think about that. That's right. Think about that. And we will be back tomorrow to read the next chapter of Down the Swale. And maybe we will find out. Oh, I hope we do find out. Please come back tomorrow. Okay, come back tomorrow and we'll read some more. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.